Hey, welcome back to Senior Strength Solutions. Today, instead of a workout, I want to have a conversation with you about tracking macros and fat loss. As a certified macronutrition coach, I've helped multiple people across the country reach their fat loss goals, all while tracking macros. So, what is tracking macros? Well, tracking macros is a nutritional approach towards fat loss. And more specifically, we are focusing and paying attention to the macronutrients and how much of those macronutrients you are consuming. So instead of only focusing on a calorie intake, we are focusing on the macronutrients. What are the macronutrients? They are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The reason why we don't want to just focus on a calorie intake. When you only focus on a low calorie intake, you're more likely to just lose weight and lose muscle, water weight, bodily tissues, and fluids versus actual fat loss. When you maintain a high protein intake and a moderately aggressive calorie deficit, you're more likely to have a change in body composition and have fat loss. Tracking macros is not necessarily a diet, but more of a way of eating. So when you're tracking macros and you're working with a certified macronutrition coach, they're going to give you a specific high protein intake in a calorie deficit so that you can maximize your results for fat loss. The goal is to change your body composition and lose fat, not just weight. So that is why we want to pay attention to the macronutrients of our food. In tracking macros, you want to use a food diary. And there are several food diaries online. But the one I have always used and that most of my clients use is one called MyFitnessPal. So when I work with my clients, I give them a specific amount of macros that is in grams. So when they are adding their foods to their food diary, they can start seeing how much of each macronutrient they are consuming. To make fat loss even more successful and more precise, we use a food scale. And you'll want to start weighing your food on this food scale so that you can get the most precise and accurate measurement of what you're consuming. This is a guaranteed, surefire way to have fat loss because there is no questioning what you're consuming. You know exactly how much you're eating and what your overall intake looks like. It's also nice too because you can always go into your food diary and see what needs to be adjusted and modified. The food scale can be tedious at first because you're trying to understand how to use it and how to implement it into your daily routine. But after a few days and after some practice, it really is easy and it will come second nature to you. If you want to start weighing your food and tracking in your online food diary to just see what you're consuming, I put a link down below so you can check out the food scale that I use at home. So you might be asking, how do I start tracking macros and how do I figure out how much macronutrient I need of each to have fat loss? Well, there are plenty of macro calculators out there, but I don't necessarily recommend them because there are so many nuances when it comes to tracking macros and fat loss. For instance, when I am calculating someone's macros, I need to take into consideration their lifestyle, but not only their lifestyle, their physical activity and what type of exercise they're doing. So if they're doing cardio or strength training, and if they are strength training, are they doing heavy lifting or light lifting? Are they someone that has been lifting for a few years and they already have a good amount of muscle on their body? They're going to have a higher resting metabolism. If so, you have to consider with some people if they have hypothyroidism or any thyroid issue, or if they're in menopause. Has this person been a dieter? If you have dieted in the past, you might have a compromised metabolism. So when you're given a calorie intake from a calculator, it may not work for you and your body may not respond as you wished it would. So these are the things that I have to consider when I'm calculating someone's macronutrients. If you are interested in purchasing a personal macro count, you can check out the link below, and it's a personal macro count that gives you your macronutrients, your calorie intake, and several resources with that to get started in your fat loss journey. If you feel like you need a little bit more hand holding and want someone to give you a more accountability and also to be able to communicate with on a daily basis, I have one-on-one coaching also available too, and I will put the link down below if you wanted to apply. When you apply, I will respond back with what the program consists of and how much the pricing is for each month. I hope that was helpful for you and gives you a better understanding of why we track macros and what exactly it is. Hopefully you'll be back for a workout, and I'll see you later.